and Yokohama High Performance Radial tires.
Another beautiful sunny morning here in Macau. The centre of attraction today is the climax of the 2 days racing, and that's the 30th Macau Grand Prix, which this year is for Formula 3 cars, and this year will be run over 2 legs of 15 laps apiece. The first leg will be underway any minute now. The cars are just about to leave the pits. The second leg will be with you at about 3:15, and in between them we'll be covering a saloon car race, the Sime Derby race, a 15-lap race, which will be on air at about 2 o'clock. Racing started this morning, though, at 9 o'clock. There was a saloon car race, the ACP Trophy race, which turned out to be a triumph for the local Macau drivers. First place in a Toyota Corolla was Pedro Lobo. Second place went to Belmiro Aguirre in a Nissan 160J. And third went to João Severino in a VW Golf. That was followed by a very interesting classic car race. The winner there, John Turner, in a 1955 Jaguar XK 150. Well, let's get down to business now. The cars, as you can probably hear, just leaving the pits to get onto their grid positions. I'll hand you over to your race commentator for the rest of the day, BBC's #1 man, Murray Walker.
And hello from Murray Walker, and let me start by confidently predicting that this, the 30th Macau Grand Prix, is going to be the very best ever in the long history of this series. Because it's a Formula 3 race, so a few words about Formula 3. You can see what the cars look like, because there they are in front of you, going, as Brian Langley has just said, on their formation lap. Well, they're single-seaters. They are powered by 2,000cc engines, either Toyota engines, VW engines, or Alfa Romeo engines, which produce about 160 brake horsepower. They are constricted. There is an air restrictor in the injection system to stop too much air getting through, as a result of which they produce about 160 horsepower. They're all 4-cylinder engines. There is a minimum weight limit of 455 kilograms, and they are all using exactly the same type of Yokohama tire. There are actually 2 major Formula 3 championships. There's the European Championship and there is the British Championship. And here today at Macau, for the very first time ever this year, the top British and continental drivers are meeting. And what an assembly of talent that is. It includes Grand Prix driver Roberto Guerrero. It includes Martin Brundle, who is almost certain to be driving a Formula 1 car next year. It includes the reigning British champion, Ayrton Senna, who is a Brazilian following in the footsteps of Nelson Piquet, American Davy Jones, and so on. Well, naturally, during the practice period, I've taken the opportunity to talk to as many of these drivers as I can. So let's hear, first of all, what the reigning British champion, Ayrton Senna, had to say.
You've been racing in Britain all through the season, and of course you've got an enormous amount of experience in Brazil. But what about Macau? Do you like the circuit?
I think it's a very challenging circuit. You got a very straight line speed, big one. I think the fastest ever in Formula 3 I have been through this straight line, around 150 miles an hour. And then suddenly you have to go really, really slow on the very tight bends on the top of the hill. You are not allowed for a little mistake at all, otherwise you crash. And it's quite warm, nice, like Brazil, and I'm looking forward to the race.
Is it difficult to set the car up when the 2 halves of the circuit are so different?
It's not easy for sure, but it's not that difficult. I think if you have a bit experience and a good team, you can do a good job.
Ayrton Senna, confident that he can do a good job, and he will certainly have to be confident, because there is his chief opposition. It is Roberto Guerrero, the Colombian Grand Prix driver, who has been driving in the Ensign and Theodore teams for the last 2 years, and who so very nearly won the Macau Grand Prix last year when it was for Atlantic cars. He hit a barrier, he had a puncture, and we had a most dramatic ending, and Roberto Guerrero just failed.